Hey, this is John from Alloy 211. Today's video is a little bit different than normal. It's more of a commentary about gun control and gun control advocacy rather than my normal evaluation, disassembly, occasional shooting videos. And I felt compelled to make this video because of recent events. I've seen more calls in the media and by pundits and gun control advocates that we need more gun laws. Tougher gun laws, which in the most recent case of this, the gun laws would have been ineffective because the person was not reported the way they should have been to the FBI's background check system. But the point I want to make here, because I hear this anytime something horrific is done with a firearm, we need more laws. We need to have bans, confiscations. Some people call for confiscations. Very few pundits actually call for it directly in the media. And I think maybe that's because they know that generally among the American public that is a non-starter. But let's say, for example, with the most recent events, people are calling for the banning of semi-automatic rifles. Let's say in the imaginary world, because again, you couldn't in reality ban and confiscate all these firearms from the American public. It would be extremely difficult, cost billions of dollars. Because there's so many millions of them. I mean, there are millions of semi-automatic AR-15 rifles in this country today. But let's say you could, because someone did something horrific with a firearm like this, or any semi-automatic rifle. Let's say we could ban and confiscate all the semi-automatic rifles in the American populace right now. So I'll go ahead and pull this off the table. Now, let's say some time passes and someone does something horrific with a bolt action rifle, an antiquated action of rifle, like a lever action. It's antiquated, it's old, but it's still potent. I mean, this rifle in particular shoots a 7.62 by 54 rim cartridge, which compared to this 223 that the AR-15 I just took off the table shoots is quite a bit more powerful. So let's say someone does something horrific with a rifle like this. And again, imaginary fantasy world, we somehow could ban and confiscate all of these rifles like this from the American public. So we'll go ahead and take that off the table. Now, firearms are dwindling. Now, let's say some more time passes. Someone does something horrific with a centerfire semi-automatic handgun, which statistically, handguns are used to kill more people in this country than any other firearm. So, you don't hear that a lot, but that is the facts. And most people find these to be more acceptable than the first rifle I took off the table. But again, let's say someone did something horrific with a handgun like this, semi-automatic centerfire handgun. So, we ban and confiscate all those. Let's go ahead and take that off the table. Leaves us with 22 semi-automatic handgun and centerfire 38 special revolver and a shotgun. Now, shotguns are used quite a bit in this country for home defense and hunting and all that. But let's say someone does something, some more time passes, and someone does something horrific with a pump action shotgun. I'm not going to talk about semi-automatic shotguns because they probably would have banned those when they banned the AR-15. So let's say we decide, you gotta ban and confiscate all those pump action shotguns too, because God, they're just out there killing people. So now, we're left with a centerfire revolver, a semi-automatic 22 caliber pistol. So, let's say some more time passes, and someone does something horrific with this centerfire revolver. Well, that centerfire cartridge, that's way too big and powerful. So, the American people don't need that. Let's go ahead and ban and confiscate all those. So we do that. And that leaves us with just this little 22 right here. Small, it's not that big. Shoots this tiny little bullet. I mean, look how close that gives the camera just for you to be able to see it. A little tiny 22. What could that do? And it uses a 10-round magazine, which many gun control advocates seem to think is a great idea, a 10-round magazine. So I would say, let's imagine then some more time passes and someone does something horrific with something like this. But I don't have to say that, because that's already happened. The Virginia Tech shooting, that shooter used a gun like this. That's .22 caliber with 10 round magazines and killed 32 people. So, why? Now we have no guns on this table. So what's left that a person who wants to do bad things to other people could use? Well, one, they don't care about laws, because obviously these things don't matter to them, because if they did, they wouldn't be willing to commit horrific acts against other people to begin with. You know, they're going to use whatever is in their disposal to use. Because the reality of it is, and gun control advocates and pundits don't want to admit this, it's all about the motivation of the individual as to what they do and why they do it. It's not about the tools that they have at their disposal, it's about the motivation. Now I'm going to bring back the dreaded AR-15. And the reason why I bring this back is because this latest incident in Texas, the gunman who committed the horrific act used a weapon like this. His motivation was to harm other people, to kill other people. But the man who did his best to stop him also used a rifle like this and did his best to stop him and courageously put his life in danger to stop someone willing to harm other people. They both had the same tool, but they both had a different motivation. And that's where, when we really want to talk about this problem of violence in America, which in reality is a very small problem, even though the media doesn't want you to think that. But when we talk about this subject, we continue to have the media hit us about the tools used, but not enough about the motivations of the people who are doing it. And that's really where we need to look at the problems and try to address the problems and try to do our best to prevent these things from happening in the future. So, you know, let's say you know somebody who you don't think should have a firearm. Maybe they shouldn't. You know, maybe if they are getting into things that seem like they are, you know, going down a dark road, maybe you should talk to them. And if talking to them doesn't help, then maybe you should talk to someone with official capacity to do something about it. Regardless, I just more wanted to point out the fallacy of the gun control argument. That it's not about the tools that are used, but it's about the motivation of the person. Anyway, thanks. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, hit the like button, share it, and if you want to see some other videos by me, go ahead and look through. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you'll subscribe. Thanks. Have a good day.